She commanded 10,000 servants with a single glance. She decided which concubine ate at the emperor's table and which one didn't. She held more formal power than almost any woman in her empire. And she couldn't choose what time she woke up, who she married, or when she was allowed to die. This is the story of an empress who ruled everyone in the palace, except the one person she was never permitted to be, herself. You've probably felt a smaller version of this. The promotion that came with a title, but not a choice. The role everyone assumes you wanted, that you never actually picked. The moment you realized you'd spent years optimizing a life you never consented to in the first place, just executing it well. We tend to measure freedom by how much power someone holds over others. But power over others and power over your own life are not the same thing. And history's most powerful women often had almost none of the second kind. In Ming Dynasty China, empresses were rarely chosen for love. They were selected through an imperial process, sometimes examining hundreds of candidates for posture, complexion, and composure, the way you might inspect livestock or jade. Once chosen, an empress held real administrative authority. She oversaw the entire inner palace, controlled household budgets, decided the rank and treatment of every concubine, and could end a servant's career with a single word. And yet, historians studying Ming court records note that an empress's personal autonomy, who she saw, what she did with her time, whether she could leave the palace grounds, was almost non-existent. She administered an empire of thousands of women while having less control over her own daily life than most of the women she ruled over. The insight is this: authority and autonomy are not the same currency. You can hold total power over a system and still have none over your own existence, because the system was never built to serve you. It was built to be administered by you. You are probably not an empress, but the trap is more common than it looks. Here are 3 shifts worth taking from her story, in order. Step 1. Distinguish between authority and autonomy when evaluating your life. Don't measure whether your life is good based on how much responsibility or control you have over other people, a position, a team, or a household. Instead, ask yourself, how much power do I actually have over my own days? This is a different question, and confusing the two is how capable people end up getting trapped without realizing it. Step 2. Find a small space that is truly your own. Historical records show that even empresses created small spaces where they truly had the freedom to choose, such as a garden they tended themselves, calligraphy practice they did alone, or a close friend. These actions are not forms of power. Rather, they are actions that demonstrate a sense of ownership. Find the smallest space in your life that is truly your own and protect it intentionally. The third shift: question the role that is considered the ultimate achievement. From every external perspective, the position of Empress is the highest peak a woman can reach in her world. However, it is still not freedom. Before pursuing a role simply because it appears to be the pinnacle, ask yourself whether that role truly expands your options or merely adds to the number of people you are responsible for. Picture her selection day. Hundreds of young women stand in a line inside the palace walls, officials walking the row, inspecting posture, skin, the steadiness of a bow. She is chosen, not for anything she said, but for how well she held stillness under inspection. Her family weeps with pride outside the gates. She has just become one of the most powerful women in the empire, and she has not been asked a single question about what she wants. Years pass. She learns the palace the way a new administrator learns a company. Its budgets, its politics, its thousands of names and ranks. She decides which concubine
Rewards
receives
are given
silk
to those who
and which
earn them.
receives discipline.
But discipline
Ministers defer to her.
must follow neglect.
Servants lower their eyes when she passes. By every visible measure, she has enormous power. And yet, she cannot leave the palace grounds without formal permission.
Halt.
She cannot choose
No
her own
exit without
schedule,
permission.
her own company, or in many recorded cases, even the manner of her own death. Some empresses in Chinese history were formally ordered to accompany a deceased emperor in death, a decision made entirely by others, dressed in language of honor. She spent her entire adult life administering a system that never once asked whether she wanted to be inside it. She ruled an empire of thousands and controlled none of her own hours. So if you've ever climbed toward a role that looked like the top, only to realize you had more responsibility and less freedom than when you started, you're not imagining it. Power over others and power over your own life were never the same thing, and history is full of women who mastered the first while being denied the second entirely. She traded her own name for a title and an empire's worth of small daily freedoms for a position everyone else called an honor. If this story changed how you think about the roles you've chased, tell me in the comments, is there a throne in your own life, a position, a responsibility, a title that gives you power over others, but almost none over yourself? And if you want more stories about the people history called powerful while quietly erasing their choices, subscribe. There's a lot more hidden behind the crowns.